The Shumei organization was established by Miho Koyama and her son Sokichi in 1970. The organization's ideals are based on the teachings of the 20th century visionary and spiritual leader, Mokichi Okada, known to Shumei members as Meishu-sama. Shumei's purpose is no less than the realization of a heavenly world here on earth, a paradise of truth, virtue, and beauty. Its mission is to fulfill humankind's ancient dream of happiness through the refinement of the spirit, a reverence for nature and its bounty, and the pleasures of creative beauty. Meishu-sama Hall was to be the centerpiece of Shumei's expansive headquarters in Misono. It was to be Shumei's first major commission. But it was not the only architectural complex that the organization desired to build. It also was hoped that someday a fine art museum to house Shumei's collection would be built as well. Before the hall's design was confirmed, Mrs. Koyama organized tours with fellow Shumei members to explore the world's great architectural wonders, to find inspiration for Misono's Grand Hall. Over a period of 2 years, 6 tours took place, in which 17 countries were covered. During her many travels, Mrs. Koyama found 2 contemporary architects that seemed perfectly suited to realize Shumei's vision of an earthly paradise. It was Minoru Yamasaki who eventually built Meishu-sama Hall, and I.M. Pei who later would create the Miho Museum. In 1983, Meishu-sama Hall was completed, and its spacious interior was to find its musical complement when the Rogers Royal 5 organ was installed. The Royal 5 was designed and built for Virgil Fox. According to the Guinness Book of World Records, the organ has the highest number of timbers, and some now say that the Royal 5 is the finest digital organ in the world. Sokichi Koyama acquired the Royal 5 and had it installed in Meishu-sama Hall, and Berj Zamkochian was asked to play for the hall's dedication ceremony. On the day of the hall's opening in May of 1983, before the music began, Mr. Zamkochian suddenly began to speak to the audience.
In the United States of America, my name is not an American name. I am of the Armenian heritage. Armenia has a very venerable history of 3,500 years. Our country was located at the foot of Mount Ararat, and historians have called it the cradle of civilization. Written in the history book, that wonderful history book of the Armenians, are many beautiful and glorious pages, but there are also some very sad and tragic pages. As the people threw themselves into the turbulent seas of the Bosporus, there were Japanese boats, and the Japanese people came to save thousands of lives of Armenians crying for help. And among one of those who jumped into that turbulent sea was a young boy, and that young boy's name was Nazaret Zamkochian. He was my father. So in the names of those thousands of people that were saved by the kindness of the Japanese people, in the name of the son of Nazaret, Zamkochian, I am here to offer thanks in behalf of the Armenian nation that still lives, as the son of that boy that was saved in a Japanese boat. Kokoro kara arigato gozaimasu.
A year later, misfortune came to Shumei. Sokichi Koyama, the organization's president, suddenly passed away. Mr. Zamkochian hurried to Misono to console Shumei's members in their time of sorrow. He played elegiac music hour after hour, as thousands expressed their grief by laying flowers in Meisha Summer Hall. As the years passed and the anniversaries of Sokichi Koyama's memorial came by, so did kind messages of remembrance from his good friend Berj Zamkochian. The next major project to be built at Misono was a fine carillon. The music of its bells would toll through the surrounding mountains. Unfortunately, Minoru Yamasaki had passed on before the project could begin. Her hopes settled on one master architect to design the tower, I.M. Pei. Mrs. Koyama and her daughter Hiroko, who has succeeded her brother as president of Shumei, set off to visit I.M. Pei at his offices in New York City. Mr. Pei welcomed them warmly. However, he did not give a definite yes to their proposal. Yet, Mr. Pei and Mrs. Koyama discovered that they both shared an extensive knowledge and love of the Chinese classics, and this mutual affinity gradually grew into a friendship. It was the beginning of a great collaboration between artist and client. It has been 17 years since the bell tower, called Joy of Angels, was completed. The carillon was stunning, but an even larger triumph was ahead. For I.M. Pei had agreed to build a museum to house Shumei's art collection. Today, 10 years have passed since the grand opening of the Miho Museum. The beauty of its structure, at one with the brilliance of its natural setting, has captivated people throughout the world. For now and the future, these buildings, filled with music, art and light, embodying beauty, surrounded by natural beauty, touch the very heart of Shumei's mission to bring well-being and happiness to all humankind.